Hello everybody, this is David. Welcome back to my channel. Well, in this video we're going to take a look at the question that very often comes up and the accusation that religion is the cause of all wars. So let's have a look at this question. Is religion the cause of all wars? You know, the atheists and secular humanists are always telling us that religion is the number one cause of violence and war throughout the history of mankind, in actual fact. And you may have heard this accusation at work or at school or in your family or at college. How are we going to answer this? Let's have a look, shall we? Is religion the cause of wars? Well, we have to say that there is no denying that things like the Crusades and the 30-year wars, their foundation rested on religious ideology. But it is simply incorrect to say that religion has been the primary cause of war throughout history. Now, moreover, although there's no disagreement that radical Islam was behind the spirit of 9/11, for example, it is a fallacy to say that all faiths, all religious faiths, all religions contribute equally where religiously motivated violence and warfare are concerned. Now, it's very interesting that there is a book, a three-volume encyclopedia of wars by Philip and Axelrod. Now, they chronicle 1,763 wars that have been waged over the course of human history. Now, of those wars, the authors have categorized 123 out of the 1,763 as being religious wars in nature. Now, that's an astonishingly low 6.9% of all wars. Now, when we subtract out of those wars the ones waged in the name of Islam, which happen to be 66, the percentage of religious wars is cut by more than half to 3.23%. That's quite amazing, really, don't you think? So that means that of all faiths, all religions combined, minus Islam, have caused less than 4% of all humanity's wars and violent conflicts. Also, it's true to say they played no motivating role in the major wars that have resulted in the most loss of life. So that puts the claims that religion is the number one cause of war and violence of humanity, it puts it out the window, doesn't it? It's a non-argument. The truth is that non-religious motivations and naturalistic philosophies bear the blame for nearly all of humanity's wars. So lives lost during religious conflicts are minuscule in comparison to those lives lost during regimes who wanted nothing to do with the idea of God. Now, there is a gentleman called R.J. Lummel who did an amazing work book called Lethal Politics and Death by Government. Now, what he shows is that out of, let's just go through the figures, shall we? Out of the non-religious dictators, communists, whoever they were, Marxists, this is the number of lives lost due to them. For example, Joseph Stalin, there was 42,672,000 lives lost under him. What about Mao Zedong? There was 37,828,000 lives lost under him. Adolf Hitler, there were 20,946,000 lives lost under him. Chiang Kai-shek, there were 10,214,000 lives lost under him. Vladimir Lenin. Now there's another Vladimir causing problems in the world at the moment, but Vladimir Lenin, and there were 4,017,000 lives lost under him. Hideaki Tojo, under him 3,990,000 lives were lost. And Pol Pot, under him there were 2,397,000 lives lost under him. So Rummel says in his book that almost 170 million men, women and children have been shot, beaten, tortured, knifed, burned, starved, frozen, crushed or worked to death, buried alive, drowned, hung, bombed or killed in any other of a myriad of ways governments have inflicted death on unarmed, helpless citizens and foreigners. It could be said that the true figure could be 360 million people. It's as if humanity has been devastated by a modern Black Plague, and indeed it has. It has been devastated, but not a plague, but it's a plague of power, not of germs. So the historical evidence is quite clear that religion is not the number one cause of war. So that begs the question then, what is the primary cause of war? If religion can't be blamed for most wars and violence, then what is the primary cause? Well, it's the same thing that triggers all crime, cruelty and loss of life and other such things. Jesus Christ himself provides the answer very clearly, as we read in the book of Mark chapter 7, 21 to 23. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed the evil thoughts, fornications, thefts, murders, adulteries, deeds of coveting and wickedness, as well as deceit, sensuality, envy, slander, pride and foolishness. All these evil things proceed from within and defile the man. So the book of James also agrees with Jesus when we read in James chapter 4 verses 1 and 2, what is the source of quarrels and conflicts among you? Is not the source of your pleasures that wage war in your members? You lust and you do not have, so you commit murder. You are envious and cannot obtain, so you fight and quarrel. So in the end, the evidence shows that the atheists and those that say that religion is the number one cause of wars in the world are quite wrong. They claim to do so desperately and they try to cover up the fact that sin is the number one cause of war and violence, not religion, and certainly not Christianity, which is really where the finger is pointed at when they say religion is the number one cause of war in the world. They hate God, they hate Christ, they hate the gospel. So there's a few answers for you next time someone says to you, religion, it's the number one cause of wars in the world. It isn't. It's non-religious people or anti-religious people that is the number one cause of war in the world. So I want to thank you for joining me in this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.